Hey you guys, I am back. It's hot. It's really hot. Really hot out here. So I'm gonna have to be quick. Okay, hi, I'm back. Missed you guys. Okay, so before I get into the topic of the video, which you can see by the title what we're gonna be talking about today. Before I get into that, I just wanna let you guys know that I finally started. I always think these things are popping out. I finally started that community that I was talking about. Okay, so I'll put the links below. I finally started a community for us to get together, for us to learn and grow together, for me to be able to commune with you guys. It's gonna be a space where I post classes on topics like melanin, light energies, foods, species specific foods, just anything and everything relating to how your avatar interacts or how your body interacts with this environment, okay, with the matrix, with your matrix, right? It's just going to be chock full of education and videos and audios at your disposal. I'm going to do weekly meetups or weekly lives. I'm going to do monthly meetups. I'm going to try to start having guests on there that I can interview and that you guys can ask questions. So it's coming together very nicely. I'm very excited. I'll put the link below. Just go check it out. It's just $12.99 a month for all that, all those resources. Okay, so it's up, it's there. There's a few audios on there already that you guys can get into. And I'll be starting when I do the weekly lives, I'm also going to record those and leave those on there for you guys to watch or play back or whatever. So I'm very excited about that. All right, so I rambled on enough about that. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and the like button before you leave, and hit the notification bell as well. I never ask you guys to do it, but I'm going to start asking now, right? Okay, so let's get into the topic at hand, which are the 3 fallacies of a ketogenic diet. A ketogenic diet is not new. It's trendy. It comes in and out of trend every few decades. I'm not sure why, but it does, and it's been doing this since the early 1900s. I believe it was the 1920s. It's so long that I've like looked into this, the history of it, that I can't even really remember. But it's been that long, okay? The ketogenic diet is not a new diet, and it was born from a clinical need. Okay, it was used in epileptic children to help them to help them transition as a sort of a quick transition from. I'm getting all the orange peels everywhere, but I'm hungry. All right. It was used for epileptic children, but they didn't keep them on that diet very long because it was quickly. They knew what would happen if they kept them on it too long. Okay. Anyhow, let's go over the 3 fallacies. The first fallacy is that you are training your body to burn fat instead of carbs, because carbs is the devil and you want to burn fat. All right, so let's go over that fallacy and why it's a fallacy. Most of you are not even in ketoacidosis, which is what you're trying to do, right? So the ketogenic diet, the theory is you want to train your body to burn fat because it's more efficient, right? And that there are all these great benefits to producing ketones, and that the way you do this is that you starve the body of the carbs, and theoretically it's going to switch from burning carbs into burning fat. That is a fallacy. That's not what happens. What happens is when you, first and foremost, in order to get into ketoacidosis, right, because keto is short, or ketogenic is short for ketoacidosis, okay? Now, in order to get into a ketoacidosis state, it takes about 3 days of starving the body, completely starving and depleting the body of a carbohydrate source, okay? So carbohydrate sources are going to come from your foods, and you have some storage not only in your liver but in your muscles as well. I've heard someone say, oh, you know, every night you burn through your glycogen stores and in the morning you're burning fat. That's not true at all. That's not true, because you have more glycogen stored in your muscles as well, and it takes about 3 days of completely depleting. You're not going to go towards the glycogen storage until you have exhausted all the carbs in your diet, okay? And you are getting carbs in your diet even if you're on a ketogenic diet. So most of you are not in ketoacidosis. If you were, you would smell it on your breath. It'd smell like a paint remover, a nail polish remover. You would smell the ketones on your breath. If you're not smelling that, you're really not in ketoacidosis. You might be producing some ketones because you do burn some fat. Even with the consumption of carbs, you are going to burn some fat at resting state, and you do produce some ketones, but not enough to produce acidosis. So it's not even worth talking about. What most of you guys are doing is you're going into gluconeogenesis. Your body does not want to go into ketoacidosis, okay? So it's first step after, and this is after you've burned up all the glucose, I should stop saying glucose. This is after you've burned up all the carbs from your dietary carbs, and you've burned up all your storage from the glycogen storage in your liver and in your muscle cells, because you have 2 storage places, not just the liver. People always just only talk about the liver, but you have glycogen in the muscles too. That takes about 3 days, okay, of completely depleting that. After, and let's say you have managed to accomplish that, right? After that, you don't go into ketogenesis, right? What you do is you go into gluconeogenesis, where your body now takes protein, right? And it takes the protein and it converts it via a process called gluconeogenesis into glucose, and then your body uses that as fuel, okay? So that's what most of you guys are doing. Most of you guys are in gluconeogenesis. You're not in ketoacidosis, okay? Number 2, the second fallacy is, well, I'm losing weight, I'm burning all this fat. That's wrong as well, and it goes back to the first point where I'm telling you your body is going to choose the next phase after it's used up the carbs that you've been giving it via your diet and via the storage. It takes about 3 days to deplete that, right? If you're truly starving yourself. But after that, what's going to happen is gluconeogenesis, right? You're not going to go after fat first. Your body's not going to go after fat first. It's going to go after protein. It's going to take the protein and it's going to convert it. So you're not burning fat right away. What you're doing is, and I see some people saying that this is a myth, but it's not a myth. It's documented all over the place. The ketogenic diet is a very well understood diet in science. The confusion happens in industry, where people are tied to it monetarily and they have something to gain when they have products to sell you or a method to sell you, right? Okay. There's no confusion. The body is going to go to gluconeogenesis first. It's going to go after protein first, okay? So the first thing it's going to do is it's going to go after the protein in your diet, which if you're on a ketogenic diet, which means you're on a low carb diet, it means you're getting your calories, because you only have 3 calorie sources, right? Sugars, fats, and proteins. It's not going to go after the fat first. It's going to go after the protein first. So it's going to go after your dietary protein. That's why I kind of chuckle at people on these high protein diets, and I'm thinking to myself, why are you eating all like, when you consume the protein, your body converts it. Consumption of protein is very inefficient to building protein in that way, okay? Because your body takes the protein and it converts it. Well over 50% of it, almost 60% of it, is being converted into sugar. It's being converted into glucose. That's how important the sugar is, okay? You can't avoid it. It's no avoiding it, right? So your body is converting your dietary protein first, which most of you are eating on a ketogenic diet. You're eating fat, you're getting your calories from fats and proteins, and your body's going to take that protein first and it's going to convert it into glucose. After that, it's going to go after your muscle mass, okay? You are going to burn some fat. Like I said before, if I haven't said it already, you are going to burn some fat, okay? But you burn fat at resting anyways when you're carbed up, okay? So you are going to burn some fat at resting anyways. but you're gonna lose some muscle mass. I'm sorry to tell you, and that's a fact. It's documented. This is not some fallacy that I'm telling you guys. It's a well documented process called gluconeogenesis. You're going to convert your dietary protein into sugar first, because that's the preferred fuel, is the sugar, and then after that it's going to go after your muscle mass. So all that weight that you're losing very rapidly, and rapid weight loss is indicative of muscle loss, just so you guys know. All that rapid weight that you're losing that you think is so great, it's your muscles. You're losing muscle mass, okay? So that's the second fallacy, is that I'm losing all this fat when I'm losing weight. All right, what's the third fallacy? The third fallacy is this idea that there's some... Oh, somebody's calling me. No, I don't want to talk to you right now. The third fallacy is that you are creating some healthful magic via the creation of ketones, right? Now, via the first two fallacies, you know that you're not really in ketoacidosis. I told you why you're not in ketoacidosis, why most of you are not in ketoacidosis, and that's because of the process called gluconeogenesis that precedes ketoacidosis, okay? If you're not smelling that paint thinner breath, you're not in ketoacidosis. You're in gluconeogenesis. It takes 3 days of completely depleting all sources of sugars before your body will go to burning fat. Why is that? It's because your body does not want to produce the ketones. Ketones are a danger to the body. Okay, this is also something that's well documented. This is not something that's misunderstood or confused, or it's none of that. There's no confusion. When you go into ketoacidosis, true ketoacidosis, I'm not talking about this, what you guys are doing. What you guys are doing is not really ketoacidosis. It's gluconeogenesis. It's a different thing. And that's very stressful on the body as well. Okay? If your body is truly going into ketoacidosis, it's in a highly stressful failure to thrive state. That's not my definition. That is the medical literature that's saying this. The science that you guys love so much defines the ketoacidosis state as a failure to thrive state. The production of the ketones is not some beautiful, miraculous, health-giving property to the body. It is not. Okay? When you go into that state, your body is rapidly, it will not tolerate an acidic state in the blood. Your blood pH has to be very fine-tuned. And what it's going to do is it's going to pull either from your bones, because that's the largest mineral deposit in the body is your bones. It will pull from the organs, because you have mineral deposits in the organs as well. And then it's going to stress your kidney out, the stuff that it can't buffer, right, with the bones and the organs, because it has to preserve the bones to some degree, and it has to preserve the organs to some degree. So the other point of exit is going to be your kidneys, and your kidneys are going to they're going to suffer trying to get that acid out, trying to get those ketones out. This is well documented. It's well documented in studying of diabetics, because this is an issue, right? With diabetics. If diabetics can't convert their sugars via insulin resistance, if they can't convert their sugars and they're moving towards gluconeogenesis, and then after that they're moving into ketoacidosis, which does happen with severe diabetics, that's a problem with the kidneys. You notice kidney issues are almost married to people who are long-term diabetics. That's why. Diabetics have that smell on the breath. That's why. This is not some health-giving, life-giving molecule that's being created when you create ketones. No, your body has to rapidly get rid of this. It's a danger to the body. An acidic state in the blood is an immediate, not a later danger. It's an immediate danger to the body. Your body is going to act on it immediately. Either it's going to buffer it from the bones, it's going to buffer it from the organs, or it's going to drive it out via the kidneys. All of these are failure to thrive states. I am not sure what fad holistic doctor you guys are listening to that's telling you. It's documented. It is well documented Nobody in the clinical arena puts anybody on a ketogenic diet for a long period of time. It's used as a transition in epileptic patients and neurodegenerative patients, right? In order to transition them to, once they've titrated their medication and they figure out what medication works for them, they get them off of that sucker very quickly. It's already documented in children that they were using these ketogenic diets on for longer than necessary. They have terrible bone health, awful bone health, because you cannot maintain a ketogenic state. You do not go into a ketogenic state every morning upon waking. I don't know where people are getting this from. Does your breath smell like nail polish remover when you wake up in the morning? Then you're not in a ketoacidosis state. You're not burning all of your glycogen in a sleeping state. That does not happen. You have glycogen storage in your liver, and you have it in your muscles, right? It takes 3 days to deplete that, and that's if you're not eating anything. That's not if you're not eating anything. And the reason I'm saying that is because there's protein and there's sugars in damn near every food that you eat. You just call a protein because the calories are the highest density of calories in a protein source comes from proteins, but it doesn't mean that it's devoid of carbohydrates. It's just the main fuel source in the protein is protein, a protein molecule, a protein structure, right? But it's not devoid of a carbohydrate. There are carbohydrates in vegetables. There are carbohydrates in the proteins that you're eating from your meats. They're there. Your body's going to go after that first and foremost. All right. I know I said only 3 fallacies, but I'll give you a 4th one just because I'm feeling nice today. And the 4th fallacy is that the only way to get rid of fat is to burn fat. And this is what the ketogenic diet is predicated on, well, 2 things. It's predicated on that fat burning is better, it's more efficient, and you need to train your body into burning fat. And that's incorrect, because we know that there are dangers from using fat as the primary fuel in the body. We know this is documented. I want us to get that out of the way. I'm going to talk based on that well documented premise. Fat burning, primarily using fat to burn as fuel in the body, is not healthful and it's not health giving. It is considered a failure to thrive state, period, point blank, because of the production of ketones and the stressors that it produces on the body via the production of ketones. So the second thing that the ketogenic diet is predicated on, as far as I can tell, I don't practice it, so hey, what do I know? I could be completely wrong, right? Anyhow, the second thing is that you think you have to, the only way to get rid of fat is to burn fat. No. No. Okay? I'm not a fat burner. Am I hanging on to any fat? I'm not hanging on to any fat. I don't do one single thing to burn fat. Not a single thing. Okay? Do I move my body in playful ways? Of course. But I don't exert any effort or energy to burn fat. I don't go to a gym. I don't do organized exercise. I exercise because I live in a very species specific way, but I don't do any of that stuff. So how do I not have fat on me? I'm not burning fat. I'm burning carbs. You think that the only way to get rid of fat is to burn it. It is not. Fat resides in a cell. It's called an adipocyte. Okay, I butcher the English language, you guys. It resides in a cell. That cell has a membrane. On top of the cell, there's receptors. Cells respond to hormones. I've long said that fat loss and fat gain is a hormone-driven response. Was anybody listening when I said it? I don't know. I was. This is what I burn for fuel: carbs, fructose. I don't gobble down huge amounts of fat to train my body to burn fat. Nope. Don't do it. I don't do it. And I don't think I'm fat. As a matter of fact, every time my mom sees me, she says I have buckets. Oh Lord, what are you eating? You lost more weight. Look at you. You have buckets in your neck. She says they look like buckets. That's how slim I am. I'm at my BMI, sometimes lower. I don't do anything. I don't burn fat. I'm not training my body to burn fat as fuel. My body's burning carbs as fuel. Okay? That burning fat is not the only way to get rid of fat. You got to learn cell cycles and cell turnover in order to understand what I'm talking about when I say no, you can lose fat without burning the fat as fuel. Okay? So that was the fourth bonus fallacy. All right, I gotta go. I could see them in the mirror at the window looking for me. Don't forget to hit the link below. Join the community. It's only $12.99. This is surface level information that I'm giving you guys because I don't have time. I can't sit on here for an hour and talk. But over there, I have the long form audios. I have the classes. I have the 8-week internal Fountain of Youth class that's over there. It's, you guys will get a completely different, new way of understanding your body. You got to get the basics. A lot of people are missing the basics, and so that's why when they hear all these holistic doctors telling them, oh yeah, and they explain a few equations and it's like, oh great. No, those are half truths. Okay, go with the design of your body. Don't fight it. You don't fight the design of it. You're a carb burner. Why are you trying to turn yourself into a fat burner? Makes no sense to me. Go with the flow. Go with the flow. You don't try to buck the current. You go with the flow. It makes things so much easier. Then you don't have to go to the gym and kill yourself trying to burn fat. I don't burn no fat. I ain't fat. Not even a little bit. All right. I love you guys. Bye.